A lot of what customers are looking for when it comes to the material you may or may not create for them in their marketing or whatnot is what I've been calling story support. What I mean is, let's say some event has happened and now you need to make another step. So you decide, I need to get a new job. Well, to do that, I'm going to have to really get better at web design skills or something like that. Story support is, how do you help someone, if you sell web design skills as a training service, story support is teaching someone how they're going to experience what you sell and how they're going to get further along. So it might be how to learn to be a web designer while you're still working, how to be a busy parent and still learn web design, that kind of a thing. So story support is anything you're going to create for content and material and something that's useful to your buyer that lets them know that you're there to help them in some way that's really going to augment the story that they're trying to tell. Story support also goes around the ideas of what kind of person are you? So if I'm a very creative person, so there's stuff that supports that story. So it's almost like evidence that supports the idea that you're this kind of person versus that kind of a person. So it's very much worth thinking about, what do you need to create that's going to help people kind of keep telling their story their way in whatever pursuit they have. There's so many professional ways that this applies. This is not a business to consumer only kind of a thing. It's definitely business to business. It might be how to manage your building facilities with no hassle. It might be how to serve as an accountant to a bunch of other small businesses without pulling your hair out. There's all different ways that you could kind of put together content. And I think that every business now has to have sort of a content marketing layer. I think you just cannot not be a media company and be a business today. And story support is maybe one of the most easy starting pieces of content you need to create. So where should you create your content, or like what segments are people thinking about their content? So when someone needs something, it's when they run up against what you have for material out there in the world, right? So after an event happens, everything starts with an event. Then you suddenly come into the awareness, I need this thing. I'll give you an example. I backed out of a parking space and broke the rear view mirror off my car. Well, I don't need a whole lot of story support. I just need to find a replacement rear view mirror. But so then I have to go looking for that sort of a thing. So the event happens. Now I have to go find this stuff. Then I need to be aware of who sells what. So I find that there's a site called carparts.com, but then I think I'm sure it must be on Amazon somewhere. So now I'm aware of the options. Then evaluation. So there's price, there's do I trust the company, how fast am I going to get this product, etc. So awareness, evaluation. Third is purchase. What happens at the point of purchase? There's not always a whole lot of content needed at the point of purchase, but sometimes there is. Onboarding, on-ramping, whichever way you want to call it. Once someone has the thing you've sold them, what can you create for information there that might be more useful and more effective in helping getting someone to where they need to go with what you're doing? And then finally, retention and or referral. How do you retain someone once you've got them? Now, when I buy a rear view mirror, that company doesn't have to retain me. It's not likely I'm going to need a replacement car part, but maybe what you sell is something you sell that's a little more ongoing than that. So what kind of retention can you create? So story support on one of the major parts of the customer experience journey. What does that stir up in your head? What does that make you want to come up with?